been thinking about art supplies that people might have available to them no matter where they are. And typically, I think that people have a pen. I mean, ladies carry pens in their purses, guys in their pockets, everybody has a pen, right? Hopefully. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to learn a lot more about pen and ink drawing? And so let's do that. Let's learn more about pen and ink drawing. This video will focus on some pen and ink exercises. I have read that no matter what you're doing, it needs to be accompanied with a lot of practice. And I've heard that, practice makes perfect. It's the saying that everybody says. And art is no exception to that. Art is maybe even more held to this rule because without practice, it's hard to improve your art skills. When you think about it, like an athlete doesn't just show up on game day, but they have to go to practice. And somebody who is a musician doesn't just show up at concert time and perform. And art's just like that, but yet people will open up their sketchbook and they will think, I should be able to create this amazing masterpiece right now. And it's just not a reality, The sketchbook is the place to practice. So for this practice, I suggest you grab a sketchbook that you don't think you have to be an amazing artist in. Keep one of those sketchbooks that's just like the practice book. And then you can have another sketchbook if you want for the times that you're going to be the amazing artist. It takes a lot of pressure off of you. So open up your sketchbook and I will show you how to do this pen and ink practice. And if you don't have your sketchbook with you, then just grab a piece of paper and we can do this practice together. It'll be a great way to get started at pen and ink drawing. I hope you enjoyed today's video.
To get started, we are going to set up our paper. I'm going to make a mark at where I want to start with my lines, and then my lines are going to be 1 inch apart, and I'll draw a line the whole way across the paper. I'm going to continue this the whole way down, and when I finish, I will highlight all the lines. I will use 2 different colors of highlighter just to help my eyes know where the different lines should go. So I'm drawing those lines the whole way down the paper, and they're all 1 inch apart. Then I will draw a middle line, and then that way I will have 10 separate spots to practice with. So now I'm going to use my pink highlighter and highlight every other set of lines, and then the orange highlighter will be highlighting every other set of lines, and that way it keeps my eyes clearly adjusted to where I need to practice. I will number them 1 through 10 so that I know where I will draw my lines, and then I start with my first lines. My first set of lines will be just straight up and down. I'm practicing how to place lines close together, far away. What's it like to control my pen compared to what I typically use for writing? Just getting used to pen control. The second set of lines are going to be diagonal. So again, just seeing how it is to draw diagonal lines. Is it hard to put them close together? Is it harder to put them far away? So far, these types of lines shouldn't be that hard. They're pretty typical. The next lines will be V's. So making V's might take you a little bit longer. I know I had to slow down to make the V's, but they still are pretty typical types of lines, so they shouldn't be too difficult for you to do. And now we're going to make arrows that are facing towards the right. So these again caused me to draw a little slower than I was for the straight lines or just the diagonal lines, because you kind of have to stop midpoint. I also found that the point of my arrow was kind of going up, so you might have to readjust that throughout your drawing so that it doesn't slowly go away, which I did a couple times. I would readjust where my point of my arrow was so that it didn't keep going up. And now these are almost like C's. It's kind of like a parenthesis maybe. So it's just getting your hand used to making that almost circular motion, the control of your pen. It does take more focus than the original lines that we learned with going down or the diagonal lines. And now we are going to do a little squiggle to our lines. The interesting thing about the squiggle is it's hard to keep your squiggle the exact same while you're doing this. Your squiggle will kind of morph, and I think that's okay. But just trying to control your pen to keep your squiggle as much of a squiggle as you can and not get into a straight line, and try to keep them close together still. Now we're going to practice keeping our lines coming from the same point, so it's more like a radial line coming out of a center point and just going out to some pretend sides there. So you just do this over and over again. It definitely takes more focus than just your straight down or your diagonal lines, but it is helping you to learn that pen control that we keep talking about, because ultimately this practice will lead us into you being a really awesome artist with your pen. Again, we're going to practice coming from one point, but this time the point's going to kind of be in the upper left-hand corner, and we'll practice radiating our lines down from there. This kind of reminds me like a jellyfish or something, but anyways, it's helping you to learn that pen control. Now for number 9, we are going to make little lines going down. These are good lines to practice for when you are going to shade something. So it's just little lines in a row going down. It's almost like a little tiny hatching in a row right there. So like I said, these will be used for whenever you get ready to shade something. So that's why we're practicing these. Now the same type of line, only we're going to draw a line to kind of work with first, and then just do our little type of hatching line off of that. This is again working towards learning how to shade something. And to end today's practice, we're going to label our paper. So it's pen and ink drawing, and this is practice number 1, and then we'll put the date. The reason that I like to label it is so that whenever we are awesome masters at our art of pen drawing, we can look back and see in April 2020, this is what I used to be able to do, but now look at what I can do. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you enjoyed today's practice. Be sure to tune in soon for the next practice.